Ladies and gentlemen, if you and your spouse are federal employees, both of you, then you are in for a treat because there are 3 strategies that as you approach retirement, you can do as a double-fed household that no one else can do or really should do, right? Unless you are a double federal employee household. Now, if you are new here, welcome. Great to have you. My name is Dallin Hawes. I'm a financial planner who serves federal employees like you, every single day, and I absolutely love it. Okay, again, this video is just for those that have double federal employees. So you and your spouse are federal employees. If that's the case, these 3 strategies are going to make a ton of sense for you. So here's the deal. Strategy number 1, jumping right in. Whenever you are actively employed as a federal employee, you get some great benefits. One of them is you can pay for your FEHB, your health insurance, okay, your FEHB. You pay those premiums pre-tax, okay? What does that mean? That means that let's say your salary is $100,000. Let's say you get paid $100,000 a year to be in your position, to do what you do, okay? If you, though, have about $5,000 a year in FEHB premiums, health insurance premiums, they deduct that from your pay and you don't have to pay taxes on it. So they tax you as if you only made $95,000, right? It comes out pre-tax. However, this benefit goes away in retirement. You can't do this in retirement, okay? Only while you're working can you pay premiums pre-tax. Now, why am I bringing this up in regards to double federal employee households? Well, what if one of you retires before the other person? Okay, if one of you retires and loses the benefit of having FEHB pre-tax, well, guess what? One of you is still employed, and one of you can get an FEHB plan that is self+1 or a family plan if you have kids on the plan as well to cover both of you, right? So whoever is still employed the longest should carry the FEHB and put the retired federal employee on their plan so they can get the pre-tax benefits, okay? I repeat, whoever is working longer, the federal employee spouse that is working longer should carry the retired federal employee on their FEHB to be able to keep the pre-tax benefits that happen only when you are actively working as a federal employee. So that is number 1, okay? That is the first thing you should do if you're a double-fed household. Now, let's go to survivor benefits. Survivor benefits. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to survivor benefits, let me walk you through what this is. When you retire, you have to fill out what they call a retirement application, okay? And on this application, you have to make a few key decisions. One of them is, do you want to leave a survivor benefit for your spouse? Now, what is a survivor benefit? Survivor benefit is basically saying, hey, if I die as a federal employee, I want my spouse to be able to keep a piece of my pension, that monthly payment I'm getting every month in retirement. I want my spouse to continue getting a piece of that even if I die. If you don't elect a survivor benefit, then you cannot have your spouse cannot keep receiving a piece of your pension after you pass, okay? And if you don't elect a survivor benefit, then your spouse cannot stay on your FEHB plan if you were to pass first. However, what if, again, you're a double-fed household? If you and your spouse are eligible to take your FEHB into retirement, well, guess what? You don't rely on each other's FEHB. You both are eligible for FEHB into retirement, so you may not need survivor benefits for the health insurance piece. And if both of you are eligible for a full-blown retirement with the government, you both may have pensions with the government, right? And if you both have healthy TSPs and you both have good pensions, then you may not need to elect a survivor benefit at all for your spouse, right? And a survivor benefit, I don't think I mentioned yet, is not free to elect. So if you're able to not elect it because your spouse doesn't need it, then it's saving a lot of money that you would otherwise have to pay in survivor benefits while you're both alive to be able to provide that for your spouse down the road. So as a summary, whenever you're a double federal employee household, just look at this. I'm not saying never elect a survivor benefit if you are double fed. Sometimes it does make sense. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. But you're just going to want to look at it, say, does this make sense for us? Do we need it? In my experience, it is the most common where double household federal employees are not electing survivor benefits as often as other people, okay? If your spouse is a non-federal employee almost all the time I've seen survivor benefits elected. Okay, so food for thought. Again, do your own research for your situation. Okay, last but not least, Medicare. So again, if one of you of this double federal employee household, if one of you is older than the other, which generally there's an age gap of some amount, if that happens, well, that means one of you is going to turn 65 before the other person. Okay, and when you turn 65, Medicare comes into play. Medicare comes into play, and I've got other videos on how Medicare and FEHB work together and some of the best options that you as a federal employee should be doing. However, long story short, what most people do is they get an FEHB plan. They get an FEHB plan that plays nicely with Medicare. Okay? Again, they get an FEHB plan that plays nicely with Medicare. However, what happens though if only one of you are 65, okay, so therefore getting on Medicare, but the other one is not 65 yet, so therefore they're not on Medicare, they're just on FEHB. What happens then? Well, if just one of you are federal employees, well then you have to get an FEHB plan that works for the spouse that's not on Medicare yet, and for the spouse that's 65 plus that is on Medicare. So you have to kind of find a hybrid plan that works well with Medicare, but also works well with not Medicare as well, with no Medicare, okay? However, if both of you are feds, that means you both can have a separate plan. You don't have to have the same plan, right? Each of you can pick a different FEHB plan. If you want, you could both have a self-only plan, or one of you, if you still have kids on the plan, one can have a family plan. It depends. If you have kids or not, it does vary, right? But you both can have separate plans, okay? You could look at the different price differences. And if one of you who's not on Medicare yet picks an FEHB plan that is just good for non-Medicare people, right? And the person that's on Medicare can pick a plan that is specifically designed for only Medicare, and that way you can often save quite a bit of money just picking a plan that's perfectly optimized for whatever you're trying to do. But again, look at the different options before you pull the trigger. These are just some things I've seen working through this with my clients that can be an opportunity for you if you are a double federal employee household. So I hope that's helpful. If you have any other questions about any of this or anything federal retirement related, there's a link in the description below to submit those, and we base our future videos on the questions you guys send in. So have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys next time.